Hi everyone, for today's book review we're going to be checking out this book, the Schofield Truck Tank. When you think of the great tank manufacturing countries of the world, Australia and New Zealand won't be at the top of anyone's lists. But during World War II, both countries embraced the challenge of having to make a tank based on their existing industrial base and the resources that they had at hand. Australia was able to produce the Sentinel tank, which was an innovative and capable tank of its day. Unfortunately, nowadays, it tends to be more famous for its unintentionally phallic-looking machine gun slot. New Zealand, on the other hand, had a much smaller industrial base to work from. And their solution was this wonderful machine that we'll be looking at today. When I look at this cover photo, to me the Schofield truck tank looks like it's a steampunk truck that wants to be a Batmobile. Basically, this machine is a half-truck, half-tracked vehicle with a gun placed on top. And it was designed as an emergency armoured unit that would enable New Zealanders to defend themselves should the Japanese invade. And this book covers its creation, its various revisions and perfections to get this design working, and then its eventual shipping over to the UK, where it was tested and then, unfortunately, ignored. And by the conclusion of the war was sent off to scrap. And unfortunately, all we have are photos and, of course, this book. Schofield, the man who designed this very interesting machine, was a mechanically minded, adventurous individual who loved to travel and who loved speedboat racing. He owned a Chevrolet dealership, and after the Second World War owned a Holden dealership. So he was familiar with mechanics, he was familiar with how machines operated, and he basically took his inquisitive mind with a whole lot of lateral thinking and figured out how can we take these existing machinery, combine them together so that we can get something that is not only tracked but also has a wheelbase. And it could convert between running on wheels and running on tracks. This book covers in great depth the various mechanical elements that went into making this machine, the various revisions that were underwent in order to make it functional and operational, and then of course the gradual frustrations that this wasn't taken seriously. But of course, after 1943, as the threat of a Japanese invasion faded, and with more and more armoured vehicles coming online, with the United States joining the Allied cause, there was no need for this machine, no matter how innovative or brilliant it was. And sadly, it was scrapped. As I've mentioned, the book goes into great detail about the mechanics of this machine and the various elements that went into it, and the successes and failures that were experienced. As you can see up here, there are photos. This book is illustrated in black and white, and there are plenty of photos throughout illustrating this wonderful machine in its various guises, iterations, and gradual improvements. There are a handful of drawings, one with a basic side profile and another one showing all the mechanical gears running within it. And all in all, it is a pleasant read. For those of you who are mechanically minded and love the nitty-gritty of machinery and how various elements work together, you will appreciate this book because it is quite mechanical and technical at times. If you are not, don't let that stop you. It is still a fascinating read. So, if you are interested in armoured vehicles, if you are interested particularly in the rare armoured vehicles, then do check this book out. It is a fascinating and informative read, and it certainly will plug the gap of this wonderful machine, because at least we can now understand some of the innovations that people would go to so that they can create a tank in a country that had very little industry. So it is a full captain's hat for me, so do check it out, the Schofield truck tank.